Okay folks, so this is part 2, just pinning this back in. I have to do it in 2 parts, otherwise trying to load these things up on YouTube takes forever. And here is the other card that I embellished. This is actually vintage crochet doily, cheesecloth, bit of pom-pom, one of Andrea's beautiful cards, and there's a fox on the back there. So here we've got a piece of ephemera from Tsunami Rose. This pocket I have glued in. It's a glassine bag, and there's room behind it and in front of it, and I've layered up handmade paper, backing paper from the kit, cheesecloth, there's music paper under here, and this beautiful owl image, and this is one of the tags from the kit, and this again has been embellished with a bit of vintage doily and some pom-pom trim, eyelet trim, lots of stenciling again. Here's another tag which has just got some pom-pom trim along the bottom and the top. And here's another pocket in the kit, and if I just take him out a moment, I've used one of the pockets on one of her pages because I thought it all went really well, and you can't see it clearly on film, but there's a little butterfly here that I've fussy cut out of one of her journaling cards. I've put "Don't forget to fly" on here with a stamp, and this is actually a sort of flower that I made with layering some bits of vintage doily and cheesecloth and backing paper under there and a gem, and then you've got Mr. Owl sitting here, and I've put twine and lace and pom-pom trim because I wanted it all to sort of go together, and I wanted to keep it as natural as I could as well. This is actually a stencil of those floating dandelions, but it hasn't come out quite as I expected, but it does remind me of seed pods and things flying around in the breeze. So it's another beautiful page from the kit of this tree in the background, and here I've used tickets as a belly band, and I've put a piece of ephemera from Tsunami Rose in there, and that has been backed onto this vintage music paper. This is a page of the kit that I've cut down to make a smaller page, stenciling. Here we've got another pocket. I actually didn't realise I did put these in. This has got a little bit of vintage lace here, which is just covering this little butterfly because I wanted to give the effect that he was just flying off out through it. And it's been layered again with cheesecloth and some fabric and the backing paper that goes with this kit, which is so stunning. And this is a piece of ephemera from a Tsunami Rose. More square paper, doily, and here we have the little stag card that I've shrunk down and just placed in there. That's another page from the kit, and this is another one of the Edith Holden type pockets that I've made. And in this part we've got a page with Mr. Owl on. Owls are also my friend's favourite animals, birds. She loves them, so I wanted to put as many owls in here as I could. And on this side we have Edith Holden paper. I've cut out one of the sayings from the Edith Holden book. As violets, recluse and sweet, cheerful as daisies, unaccounted, rare, still sunward gazing from a lowly seat, still sweetening wintry air. And that was by a lady called Christina Rossetti. And here I've taken one of these little birds from Edith Holden's books and layered it up on one of these little tags that I've created. Here's another little thin tag with all the little bugs and things on, and I've got a tiny eyelet here, and I've put some blue, a little bit of blue, I think that is embroidery silk on that one. And then here we have one of the daisies, and again we've got twine here and this lovely piece of embellishment here. So there's lots and lots of writing area, as I've said, for her. We've got a little charm here of a squirrel hanging off the trim. You can see that. And here I've made another pocket. This one I did pin in. This has been made with handmade paper, and I've got some washi going across the bottom, and I fussy cut the rabbit and the bird out of different cards of Andrea's kit. And this is one of her mason jars, and I've got a piece of blue ribbon there and a little weeny tag, and on that tag I've layered up a bit of cheesecloth, and a weeny bit of the backing paper, and I've kept it so you can open it and write on that as well, or my friend can when she gets this. I think this is one of the journals I've made that I've actually struggling to keep up, because I actually really love this one, so I'm going to have to make another. And this is another card from Andrea's kit that I've embellished with lots of vintage parts of a lace doily. You can see the little knots that have been made into flowers there. It's beautiful. Pom-pom trim, and there's some doily up here. This is all vintage, and I've layered it up again with cheesecloth and backed it. There's a squirrel on there. Where did you go? Okay, I'll just put you there for a moment. I think you did actually go here. Okay, and then we have another pocket here. So we have a page with Mr. Owl on that you've already seen. And this is a pocket that I've made, again, layered up with more of the vintage doily that I've used throughout. There is a little stag charm hanging off here, and this beautiful applique of a flower that I've cut off somewhere else and layered it all up. And it's backed on some calico type fabric so that it's quite strong. And in here we have one of the envelopes, which I've just put a little flower there and a gem. And inside there's a journaling card, which is a piece of the backing paper, and it's actually been printed out on card. I just love this. It is so beautiful. So that goes back in there. Square paper. And this is the other side of it, and we've got another flip up, flip down. You can't see it, but there is the backing paper underneath and a doily, and then I've layered it with cheesecloth and another butterfly that came out of Andrea's Back to Nature kit. And this was actually printed out on the fabric, the calico fabric. This is one of her journaling cards, but I fussy cut one of the birds out and stuck him over the top. I thought that looked quite nice. Really made him stand out, and all of the fabrics in the background. Here's another lovely tag. These pictures are just so beautiful. And again, I've backed it, this one on square paper, and put some of the trim, eyelet trim up here, and some bling, and sewn all around it in black. I've zigzag stitched all of the laces and trims on. This is one of my favourite tags of the little squirrel. And what I did was I used some natural twine to sort of imitate the branch that he's running down. So it's all like feathery off the end, and then I've embellished it with a bit of lace and a flower there. So I think that worked out quite well. It just enabled my imagination to run riot using this kit. There's another one of the bird cards that I've shrunk down that goes in there. Another page from the kit. Burlap. Stenciling. You can see the trees in this one quite well. Here's a little pocket that I've made out of a little glassine bag that I've backed onto some backing paper. And in the front here we've got little layered embellishment, and that's a ticket that's been embellished, and that slips in there. And in the back here we've got a little book that I've made, or booklet type thing that I've made with backing paper from the kit. So I've cut out butterflies and a circle here, which is actually a tuck spot. There's a little pocket in there if she wants to tuck something in, and that also concertinas out that way. So you've got the bee on the back, and there's the butterfly, and that's got a butterfly here, laid on some cheesecloth, and a little gem there. So that slips in there. And we're nearly at the end. Actually, we are at the end. This is a pocket here that I've made by just keeping the trim to its full width. I've stuck a little bee charm on there, if you can see that. Me fiddling don't help, does it? And I've put my hummingbird tails there for her, and this is another pocket at the back that I've layered up again with cheesecloth and the broderie anglaise, or anglaise broderie, I can't remember. And again, it's been backed onto some calico, and this is a jumbo tag again from the kit, and this is the center of the antique doily, vintage doily that I used, and the crocheted one in the back just to embellish there. And hanging off here we've got one of these tags, and then on the back, that's it, handmade with love. And you've got this coming down the front and the back here, so it all goes together quite nicely. So there we have it. That is my TN style journal made with ArtyMaze's woodland walk kit. I hope I've showed you some different ways of using it. I'm really into this sort of natural rustic look, and I thoroughly enjoyed making this. If you've any questions, please just leave a question in the comments. And I'm sorry that I've been knocking the camera and all the rest of it, and this video has been rushed. But you know how life is, guys, and we've had a bit of a traumatic time in Cornwall with all the snow, so there's been a lot going on. But anyway, I hope you all keep well, and talk to you very soon with another journal. Thank you. Bye.